It's game time. The Kid Gowie. Ravens Nation. All we know is purple and black. And if you're not a Ravens fan, Welcome to Baltimore, Maryland, M&T Bank Stadium, where opponents don't make it out alive unless we bury them. Every team be afraid of them, especially all the quarterbacks, cause our defensive linemen won't hesitate to leave you sacked. Let's take a minute, go back to Super Bowl 35. Domination was an understatement up against the Giants. Numerous touchdowns, they put up numbers, and it didn't take a nutritionist to see they hunger. Only stat Kerry Collins could get was interceptions. He must have thought throwing to the D counted as receptions. The pass was legendary, but don't sleep on the present. Our secondary make quarterbacks avoid their direction. You tryna run the ball, you better hope your blockers work. You can juke, you can spin, but your destination's the turf. This is a man's game, being soft will get you hurt. Watch the defense force a fumble and the fans go berserk. 17 weeks, only one league out of 32 squads. No one's messing with our team. We all bleed black and purple, you can check our IVs. Raven Nation fly high, watch us all spread our wings. Put your game face on, embarrass the competition. You ain't talking about the greatest if the Ravens aren't mentioned. Screw every other team, cause those dudes are whack. In Baltimore, the only thing we know is purple and black. Go! They always win when the championship's on the line. So if you hoping that they failed, then you really wasting your time. Go and ask the 49ers, I'm pretty sure they remember when they made a comeback, but weren't declared the winners. 2 rings down, but you know they won't stop now. If the opposing D's caught slipping, you know exactly how that goes. That's another deep connection for 6 points in the end zone. The stadium goes wacko as Ravens put in work. Pittsburgh Steelers, that's still curtain, it's looking more like a skirt. So tell me who they say is gonna beat them Bengals. Who used to beat the Browns until they relocated? Ravens, they are one of the greatest. There's simply no denying it. To beat them, bringing your A game's a requirement. With the youth of the team, I bet they still be dominant, even after the greatest linebackers retirement. 17 weeks, only one league out of 32 squads. No one's messing with our team. We all bleed black and purple, you can check our IVs. Raven Nation fly high, watch us all spread our wings. Put your game face on, embarrass the competition. You ain't talking about the greatest if the Ravens aren't mentioned. Screw every other team, cause those dudes are whack. In Baltimore, the only thing we know is purple and black. Go!
Welcome to another episode of SCG Sports. Shout out to everybody that's here, guys. I'm sorry I had to take almost like a week and a half off. I had something in my system. I mean, I still have some of whatever the hell I had. Oof, man, it was a rough week last week. So shout out to everybody. I'm my bad. And then I put the live stream yesterday scheduled for today. For some reason, it took it for yesterday. So I'm apologizing for whoever was waiting on a Sunday. I'm trying to come every Monday, but again, it sucks that it says Sunday. My bad. But yeah, I felt like shit. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I felt like shit. And Raven will be joining us hopefully later. We have been talking about him coming by. Obviously, last week I wanted to throw some prospects. I couldn't because again, I had no voice. I mean, you didn't want to hear me how I sounded. But as always, so I figured let me do 2 prospects and the live stream. I'm hoping to throw another one during the week. So yeah, I'm going to start with that. You can see it there. You can see my boy there. He'll be coming soon. Okay. And since my guy Raven is not the biggest fan of the prospect, I decided to start with a prospect and then migrate to free agency talk and all the other good stuff. Okay. So anyway, before I start, shout out to all of you that are here. Shout out to all of you. Draft is upon us. For next week on, I'm planning to do a mock draft at the beginning of the show. And then if there's any news on any free agency, we'll talk about that and keep talking about prospects. I might do live stream prospects on the live stream, and then during the week, another video. Just DM me if there's anybody that you want me to, scout. I take a lot of notes, as you can see, where you can barely see. I do pen and paper. I'm watching. So anyway, so good. So let's talk anyway. Don C, King Tay, the Joker, and Andrew lunch break. Shout out to them. Go check their videos and their pot. Baltimore Boy, Devin Dukes, Jonathan Washington, Bruno. Shout out to all of you guys. Shout out to all of you. Okay, I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm under heavy drugs. And not heavy drugs, but I took a bottle of Dayquil, half a bottle of NyQuil last week, and I'm under Sudafed. Okay, and I'm hoping that is enough. You can still kind of hear whatever the hell I have. And yes, my hair is a disaster because I haven't had a haircut since December 14 because barbers are closed here in the UK. 12 of April is when they're gonna open, and that day, Sunny is gonna. So follow me on IG. I might put my before and after in. It looks horrible. Yeah, I'm not. Whatever. All right, now shout out to you, bro. Hopefully you're getting better, man. Let's talk about this prospect. I figured let me go with the Miami 15. That's what I'm going to call it, the Miami 15. Both of them number 15, Jalen Phillips and Gregory Rousseau. I'm very bad with names. Hopefully I didn't botch those names. 2020 for Phillips. He was the 15 in 2020. Rousseau was in 19. 15 and a half tackles for loss, 8 sacks, 1 pick. Love his size, 6'5", 266. Love it. So, okay, you want to see my rug? Look at this. Look at this shit. It's enough. I don't need to see that crap. You don't need to see that crap. Okay. Anyway. Okay, this is my notes, guys. I've been lucky enough that somebody has been supplying me with some good tapes. And the Clemson game, he had 1 sack. The Louisville, he had no sacks, and the UNC, he had half a sack. He ate between 3 teams, right? I said he had 8 sacks. 3 teams he had between Duke, NC State, and UT. Between those 3 teams, he has 5 sacks. Those were the game. Those were his games. But I stuck here. Good first step. Like I said, I love his size and length. Best attribute when he has the hands in the dirt. It's what I saw. Either 3 or 4 point stand. I thought that was when he excels. He's not he's not great on the bending. So when he's coming off the edge, why am I blurry? Okay, when he's coming at the edge, I think it's because I'm not looking at the damn camera. When he's coming at the edge, he is not. He doesn't bend well. So he doesn't. Sometimes when you see the edge rushers, you see how Suggs was a master of this. You will see how they get in Myles Garrett, amazing. They bend well, right? And then they get lower, but they don't lose that momentum. That's when you see a lot of the strip sacks or anything. Damn, I'm frustrated with this. Hold on. Because this is going to drive me crazy. Camera. There you go. Sorry about that. Sorry, I laugh at the comments. Let me see here. I saw he had different moves. I saw some spin, the swing. A swing is one of his best moves, by the way. And he has a quick punch. But the problem that I saw, I feel like his reaction at the snap is not as quick as what you will like when it comes from hands placement. It's not like he misses with his hands, but because sometimes he's a second late or 2, whatever, he looks like he's on a delay, right? And now, to be fair to him, he took 2019 off. He did take 2019 off, so it could have been rust. So I'm just saying, when he gets the first punch, he delivers power and effective. So it's not a lack of strength. 266, like he's not like he's weak, but problem is sometimes he lets the lineman get into his frame first. Run D was great. Doesn't over pursue. And oh man, this is something that I kept seeing on tape. And remember when we were playing against Titans, I kept saying to you guys, like, it's very important for our outside backers not to over pursue. And sometimes the outside backers get overly hype, and then you see a stretch run, you see those outside backers just running, and they forget outside containment, right? No, this dude, very disciplined, very smart in that regard. Doesn't get overly excited. He waits, and I saw a lot of running backs cutting back, and he was there because he didn't over pursue. I love that. Because think about a guy like Shutt, right? That's a guy that we'll see a lot. He will plant that foot and cut the other way. Same with the other running back for the Browns. I'm blanking on the other guy's dude. So anyway, effort all day. Oh my gosh, I saw a couple plays where the running back went to the second level, and that guy kept running behind him, and he actually made the catch. The tackle. Love it, love it, love it. Love the motor. Only saw him dropping once, and he looked okay. So it didn't look to me that he did a lot of dropping. This is something that a guy that he reminded me as I was watching tape. Yeah, not Nick Chubb. I'm thinking about the other dude, Kareem Hunt. Thank you, Ravi. I didn't saw the other one. Hunt. Yes, thank you. Prospect that as I was watching tape, for some reason, I'm not saying this is completely accurate. For some reason, he reminded me a guy that is same thing with this guy. People think is a first round pick, and he wasn't last year. Yetur Gross-Matos. People were loving him, and I said maybe in the late second I'll take it. I don't even know what he did in the league. I'm not here trying to say he was great or bad. I just kept saying last year he ain't a first round pick. He's not a first-round pick. I thought Yetur should have been a third-round pick. I don't even remember where he finished, by the way. Phillips also has concerns with concussions. He retired in 2019 because of concussion problems. Just like right there, he should be second, third. Production-wise, I think he is raw. I like him. But he's not a polished pass rusher, like not at all. I'm looking at mock drafts. I don't understand. Like I watched the tape now. Now I can give because 2 weeks ago we had a caller that said like, "Hey Sonny, what do you think about Phillips and Rousseau?" And I was like, I can give you an honest answer because I haven't watched the tape. I would just blab or something that I might have read or something that people told me. Now I just don't get it. So if you think he's a first-round pick, you let me know how. Or let me know why. Now, if the Ravens, if he drops to the third-round pick, not bad. Concussion problem, that's always a concern. Okay, I think he is, in my opinion, he should be a third-round pick, not a first-round pick. And I know somebody the other day came out with a mock draft. They had us taking him 27 overall. Like I said the same thing about Yetur Gross-Matos. I said the same thing about AJ Epinesa. AJ Epinesa was a little bit higher on AJ Epinesa than Yetur Gross-Matos. Neither of them should have been a first-round pick last year, and they weren't, right? And I said it before the draft. I said, like, these two dudes should not be a first-round picks. Anyway, I'm not going to beat that horse. Gregory Rousseau, the other 15, 6'7", 251, 15 and a half sacks in 2019. 19 tackles for a loss. And his best game, or one of the games that I was watching, UVA, 7 tackles total, 1 sack and 1 forced fumble. That was one of the games that I watched, and he filled the stat sheet. Oh, look at that from Portugal. So he Andre Casanas production. Not that far from me, man. You're not that far from me. King, shout out to you, man. Thank you everybody that's joining the live stream. Okay, let's talk about Gregory. Because Gregory's stats, man, because one of the first things I do look at the stats. I'll go I was like 15 and a half sacks. My goodness, this dude is good. 6'7", 251. He is lighter than Phillips but taller. I think Gregory can put a couple LBs. I think he should be playing 280, and I'm going to explain why. He doesn't explode off the snap. He is not. He's not. He ain't an elite rusher, in my opinion. And let me say this right at the get-go because I don't want to forget. This 15 and a half sacks are very deceiving. So I went to a couple different games, And I feel like the sacks that he was getting, it was because he could not beat his guy, and the rest of the team was producing pressure, not getting the quarterback, and the quarterback was scrambling, and then my dude happened to be there, and he was like, oh shit, the dude is just here. Let me just sack him. Okay? It wasn't like boom out of the gate. Push. Oh, he's 266 right now. Yeah, I think he should be playing 280. Again, I'm gonna explain later. I apologize. Like I said, I'm still not completely recovered. My bad. What I was saying? Oh, yeah. So I think a lot of the time stumble upon him the sacks. Looks to me he's more comfortable rushing from the inside. So one of the things as I was watching more and more tape, I actually thought his best moves came out of the inside. And I'm gonna say a name, ain't no way close to this dude, but he gave me vibes of Mr. Smith, Zadarius Smith. When he was a rookie, Zadarius did the same thing. He was good on the outside, way better than the inside. Zadarius Smith as a rookie was better than this dude coming out, by the way. Remember when Zadarius Smith got picked? I'm just saying. Okay. He can play all over the line, but isn't as effective in the outside. Great size. Love 6'7", 266, somebody said. And knows how to use it. Not letting the inside O lineman get to him with okay, so let me rephrase this because again I'm just writing as I'm watching. The inside guys they have a very, very, very hard time to get into him. And I think it's because the size usually for the inside guys don't have the longer arms like the tackle do. So he uses size well. Not only that, this dude does over pursue plays. He does get sometimes wrong, but he is so damn long that he gets away from just diving to the other side and just making what we call shoelace tackles. This dude does, okay? Does well to bring arms up to battle the ball. So when he's in the line and he knows he's not going to get to the quarterback, he does well to just bring the arms up and try to battle the ball. I like that. Doesn't get low, plays high, and that is the problem. If you play too high, the old linemen just get to you, right? Like that. Now they can put those hands right there in your numbers and lock you. He might have got away with that in college. In the NFL, it's a way different levels. Okay? For Let's Get It, Phillips does use his hand better. This dude is all about his body type, essentially. But I'll keep going here. Efforts there in every play. Now, one thing that I didn't know about this dude, he used to be a wide receiver and a safety in college. That's why probably he's still learning the position. But the thing with Rousseau is everything he does well is because his God-given 6'7" frame. If this dude was 6'4", you talk about this dude being a 7th round pick. 6'7", let's say out of the 15 and a half sacks, maybe 10 of those sacks, he just stumbled upon those sacks. Not that he beat the guy, not that he just did something great. The rest of the team just pressure the quarterback. Quarterback boom. Rousseau was actually there. He got the sack. He got the benefit of the number. So the stats of Rousseau look better than Phillips. Now, the concern that I have with Phillips again is concussion. Where should Gregory Rousseau be drafted? I think most people have it as a first-round pick. I think here you're gonna say again, I'm very unconventional with a lot of my scouting. I think he is very overevaluated right now. I think at the earliest that I will pick him is a 3rd-round pick. He's very raw. He is very raw. And a lot of raw players have a very hard time transitioning to the NFL. Think about Tack McKinley. Great potential. Better than this dude coming out of college. Raw. Hasn't paid out, right? Think about Marquise Mingo, another guy, all about potential. Right? I'm not saying all potential guys don't pan out, but their round pick is what I'm thinking. So let's get it. I haven't done Quitey Payne. It's one of the guys that I have because I'm trying to now move between tackles, rushers, wide receivers. Okay, so if this dude puts everything together, he can be talented. Now, I did say I think he should play with 288 because I do think his length gives him the opportunity with all linemen, they're not as big as him, that he can extend those arms, but he needs to. One thing, he cannot be slow. He out of the snap, he needs to react. Extend those arms and don't let the O-line, because he ain't beating the O-line that gets those arms in his frame. If he can push off those O-lines before he gets it, now he can do the cross jump, now he can do the swing, now he could be effective. He needs to put some weight because over there in the inside, the lighter frame is not great. And this is why somebody said that he's already. I lost. I think somebody said that he's at 266. Let me see if I find that. I can't find that. Okay, somebody I think said he's at 266. I'm opinion he should go to 280 because I think he could be a 3-4 at the end. Not right away starter. Potential. Look, if he can be Calais Campbell, for example, he ain't as good as Calais Campbell, but if he can be a big guy that knows how to operate 4-3-3-4, the end type of guy, he has an opportunity in the NFL. But these two, the Miami 15, I don't know if I want the Ravens to draft him. Like if Rousseau's there in the late third round pick, the Ravens get it. I'll say like a good value for the pick. He ain't gonna start the first day. He's not, right? But hopefully we can develop him. In the case of Phillips, he is more polished. Concussion concerns me a lot. He is not great as a pass rusher. He is really good as a run defender. I will say that for Phillips. Not very explosive. Not very explosive what I've seen, right? So anyway, I do have the guy from Georgia to do soon. I'm hoping to drop Marshall this week. I'm trying to finish some tape from him and then push that video. Maybe for the live stream, I can do the guy from Georgia and Payne. But I would say I haven't watched neither of those two dudes. I've been watching Marshall's film. Okay. I would like to know, not to try to be a downer, because I might sound like a downer. What do you guys think about both Rousseau and Phillips? What do you think? Just write 2, 3, 4 first. Whatever you think the round is for them, just write it down in the comments real quick. I would like to see what is the vibes that you're getting, right? I think both of them at the earliest should be third. I think Rousseau will be better. Rousseau will be better as of like early fourth, but late third is fine. Anyway, those were like if the Ravens draft either of those two in the first round pick, I'm personally not gonna be happy, and I'll be streaming somewhere. I'm still trying to work that second round or day 2 is gonna be here. So come join me day 2. It's gonna be a lot of day 1 streams out there. So I don't know if I'm gonna just join somebody because I don't want to, keep deviating you guys. But day 2, I'll be here. I might do a draft party like I did last time with Coach. I think the BSers came last year. So anyway. Yep, so he's tough puppy. That's another one that I have. I have a couple because, again, I think the Ravens' biggest hole right now, and this is going to transition to free agency, is pass rush and receiver. Center, maybe. Again, TCC, McCarry might be good enough, and the Ravens might be content with those two. I'm not big on Bozeman, but Bozeman's going to be your left guard. I like it or not, he is going to be your left guard. And you have like 10 left guards behind him. And you have your right guard now. And right tackle, who knows? But if they trade Orlando Brown, you're hoping with whatever they trade Orlando Brown, they go get a right tackle. Because I don't think Phillips is ready. They might think Phillips is ready. I didn't see enough. I'll say this. Phillips was better as a tackle than he was a guard. As a guard, he got manhandled. But okay. Let me see some of the comments here because I don't want to miss a lot of stuff. Anderson says Rousseau is very raw. He's high up side guy. Don't want him in Baltimore. Okay. I'm not really high on the other edge rushers from Penn State. My favorite edge so far watching, sorry guys, though has been the kid from Georgia. Okay. I like the dude Joseph Osai. Yeah, that's another one that I have on my list. Georgia dude Ohulari. Horrible names. I like Phillips in the second or third. Check out the pass rusher for Penn State, Sonny. Early to mid second because there will be teams banking on the upside maybe for prospects like these. No way, Sonny said. No way, Sonny said Phillips is not a good pass rusher. His injury worried me though. He's not great. He's good. He ain't great. He's not great for a first-round pick. I will say that. Third-round pick? Sure. He's not great. A first-round rusher, I want it to be. Like, if I was looking at this table, I'm like, I mean, again, he was, like, if you had a bad tackle, he's decent. So a bad tackle, he was eating him. But against a good tackle, no. How do you feel about Orlando for Thielen? Early man. Jonathan, I think I missed something there. Anyway, Orlando for Thielen. I don't like that trade, and I'll explain that. Let's talk about Sammy Watkins, and let me talk about what I think the Ravens should do going forward, okay? And hopefully Mr. Raven comes here, and maybe we can it's like, you know Peter Juice, you call him 3 times that he appears, right? So since we're going to talk free agency, my guy is here in the background. So I present to you the one, the only, you know who we're talking about. Mr. Raven.
You ain't had to put the horns too. But what's up, Sonny? How you doing, man?
You know you like those horns. I was like, man, I need like a special intro here for Raven. Mr.
Nah, man.
40K. Congratulations, man. Yeah, congratulations, bro. That was awesome. That is awesome. And I tweeted because I saw you tweet about it, and you deserve every single sub. Every single sub. But anyway, let's talk here. Let's keep it rolling. I was gonna talk free agency. Sammy Watkins, saw your video. I'm gonna give you my thoughts and then I'll let you react because I haven't talked at all about Sammy Watkins. And the AFC North talk, before we signed Sammy Watkins, they were like, Sonny, he had to sign somebody, a body, anybody. I'm like, yeah, sure. If that makes you guys happy, sure, let them sign anybody. With Sammy Watkins, I think, is he an upgrade over Willie Snead? Maybe. The problem that I have with Sammy is injuries. It's just, they're hurt. Willie Snead was very dependable. And the thing is, Willie Snead is a very good receiver. Nothing special. He's just good. Sammy Watkins has glimpse of special. Like he will whoa, look at that. And then he will like blow you out. Look at this game. Sammy Watkins killed it. And then you hear nothing from him for weeks. And that's the problem that I have with Sammy Watkins. Is he an upgrade over Willie Snead? Small upgrade, I think. Now, what I like is he can play the outside, which really couldn't. Sammy Watkins can play the outside. And I think they really love Duvernay. And you guys know, the ones that follow me, that I love Duvernay. Before they made that pick, I was calling for Duvernay. So I think they want Duvernay to be the slot guy and Sammy to be the other outside guy and put Hollywood on the other outside with Sammy. But people, Ravens fans, were reacting as we got DeAndre Hopkins. And I was like, am I missing something here? Yeah. I try not to tweet about that because I didn't want people to think I was a downer. But I don't know about you. I wasn't like, oh my God, we did it. We brought it. Baltimore, we had the number one receiver. Sammy Watkins right now, his career, and this team might be a 1 or 2. And any team that has decent receiver, he's a number 3.
Right.
What are your thoughts?
No, yeah, I share a lot of those same sentiments about Sammy Watkins. Now he is an upgrade, and I think with the Ravens, he's a cheap pickup. He was a cheap pickup. He was their like the 3.5 option, and the reason I say 3.5 is because with Juju they offered him a deal. So they wanted Juju, but obviously he turned that down, went back to the Steelers. They offered T.Y. Hilton a deal after they had to visit with Sammy Watkins. So Sammy Watkins, he came to the Ravens facility first, and then he left, went to the Colts, and then the Ravens, they didn't have a visit with T.Y. Hilton. They said, T.Y., hey, here's the money, 3-year deal, boom, $5.33 million per year, take it or leave it. And T.Y. said, oh, no, I'm straight. I'm good off.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they checked in on Kenny Golladay. So Sammy Watkins, that's why I say Kenny Golladay, since they didn't really offer him a deal, they just checked to see what was going on with him, but obviously too much money. That's why I say Sammy Watkins was a 3.5 option. So he was what was left. He was what was left. He was the rebound guy. And I said that I don't think that the Ravens should be done at wide receiver yet. Yes, Sammy Watkins, like you said, he can't give you those explosive plays, and I think that's what the Ravens are really trying to bank on when it comes to Sammy Watkins, because right now, like you did mention, if the season started today, if it started right here, right now, then the starters would most likely be Sammy Watkins, Hollywood, with Duvernay in the slot, and then, of course, Mark Andrews. Now, one good thing about that lineup is that and then, of course, J.K. Dobbins in the backfield, or even Gus Edwards, whoever it may be. And then, of course, Lamar Jackson. Now, one thing that you got to think about when it comes to all of those players, Lamar, of course, J.K. Dobbins or Gus Edwards, Hollywood, Duvernay, Sammy Watkins, Mark Andrews. When it comes to all of those players, the one thing that they all have in common is explosiveness. They all can make a big play. They all can make a crazy play. And I think that's what the Ravens are really trying to assemble, just a unit of explosiveness. So with Sammy Watkins, I still don't think that should be the answer at wide receiver. I don't think that should be it, whether they go really early in the draft at receiver or they get like a guy who's been healthy and who's been productive as a wide receiver in the NFL, a vet guy, not an older vet guy, but a guy who's either in his prime or even if he's not in his somebody in their prime or somebody who's reaching and approaching their prime. Got to be somebody young, dependable, can make it happen. I know there's been a lot of talk about Julio Jones. He would be like a way better version of Sammy Watkins if they were to get Julio Jones, because he can make every catch. He got that big catch radius. He can block. He's physical. But same thing with Sammy Watkins. He gets hurt a lot. So
yeah, I agree with Julio. And he will cost you a penny too.
He would. But answer me this, because this is something that I've been having a lot of conversations with people about, because Ravens are cheap on offense. They don't like spending, especially at the wide receiver position. They do not like spending money there. But what's the price that you pay for not only a successful offense, but a successful team? What's the price you put on that?
No, I agree. You have to pay if you want to have a good play. So I will say this. If Julio was healthy all the time, I'll make the deal. Like if Julio didn't have injury problems, I would say, sure, sending Orlando Brown Jr. and a first-round pick for Julio Jones. Because when Julio Jones was healthy, when Julio Jones didn't have – his problem with Julio is he has a lot of mileage at this point, right? Yeah. So now you can see where he is going to hit the tail end of his career. When he's out there, he can still put the plays. But the problem is, can you depend on him? When he's out there, yeah, but not all the time. You know he's going to miss games at this point in his career. So, yeah, I agree with you. We need to invest more on this market or on this offense. And you said something that, yeah, a receiver in his prime. The problem is who's out there in his prime. The only guy right now that you can think of that potentially could work off a trade is Allen Robinson. The Bears are knocking on the door for Orlando Brown Jr. That's the reports, right? That the Bears are being the one with the most interest.
Yeah,
I'm not big Orlando Brown. I'm not. Well, remember when I brought the Orlando Brown trade for you, like weeks before Orlando Brown said, like, right? And I'm not big on trading Orlando Brown straight up for a receiver. Even Robinson, because for Robinson you have to pay him, right? The same thing.
Yeah.
He's on the tag, so you have to bring him and pay him. And Orlando, in the case of Robinson is a good second-tier receiver. He's definitely a number one. He's not an elite superstar receiver, but he's definitely number one. He's a Pro Bowl type of receiver. So other than him, I can't see anybody, at least that I can remember, that is out there. Mike Williams is another guy that people talk about. And in the case with Mike Williams, he's also a guy that does get injured, right? He has that problem. So who's out there? I don't know. Have you anybody in mind that you think potentially we could trade for?
Big frame, big body, good speed, good hands, DJ Shark. That would be another one. But it would just all depend on if the Jags will be willing to give him up. It's not looking like it, but that would be another one. If they got him, like, oh yeah, I would go crazy if they got DJ Shark. Don't see it happening, but that would be another good option. And then with the Ravens, he's still on his rookie deal. He hasn't hit that second contract yet, so that would be in their favor because that would give them an evaluation period with DJ Shark. Do you really fit in this offense? Or are we really, if we bring you on and we see you after a year, are we really going to get a lot of production out of you? Or is this a place that you're going to want to re-sign in? How's the whole thing going to work out? So with DJ Shark still being on that rookie contract, whatever they were to give up for him, if they were to give up something for him, then that rookie contract makes the deal look that much better if it were to happen. But probably won't though.
The problem with DJ Shark, guys, and I agree with Raven here, but the problem is, who does Jacksonville have right now? They don't have a lot of weapons, and they're bringing a top quarterback, so they want to have at least a weapon. I think that's why DJ Shark is not there for us. We have more luck in that trade saying Orlando Brown for, I think they had the 18th pick or the 20-something pick. That might happen more like, because a lot of people are like, oh, clean swap DJ Shark for Orlando Brown. Now, I have said too, because I don't like to give you different. Orlando Brown for DJ Shark swap is a robbery. Orlando Brown is a Pro Bowl tackle. DJ Shark is a good receiver that I think could be better, but not a Pro Bowler. Tackles are value-wise more important than receivers. Second, this is a draft class full of receivers, also tackles, but not into the level of Orlando Brown. So just putting it all out there. Saying all that, I don't think the Ravens right now have anybody receiver-wise that they like, that they want to bring. But they have cap. They open cap room, and it wasn't for Sammy Watkins, right? We can acknowledge that. Sammy Watkins, one of the reasons that I did like the deal was $5 million is very cheap, right? It's very cheap. I think Willie's knee was making $8 last year. So you have a $3 million savings over there between Sammy and Willie. So even if the production is the same, there's savings there. But they, for some reason, went and took money out of Big Baby, which is like, if we need restructure, call Big Baby. Every time people complain about Big Baby's cap number, the problem is the Ravens keep restructuring. They keep restructure. So they're just pushing money to the side. It's not like he's getting more money in the future. The cap number looks bigger. Anyway, and Calais Campbell surprised me even more. But saying that, I think this is what I think the Ravens should do. I know you were listening to the stream. As I'm watching these edge rushers right now, I'm not liking this class at all for pass rushers in this draft. I do like the receiver class. And if I look at the free agency, I don't like the receivers that are there, but I do like some of the pass rushers. I think the Ravens should go and invest on the edge rusher. And I know this will make Ravens fans crazy. We're investing more money on the defense, not on the offense. But it's what is out there. But like right now, our pass rush is very bad, right? You have a guy like Tyus Bowser that I like, not a great pass rusher. Really good outside linebacker, not a great pass rusher. But you can bring, and I'm just going to throw names, but you can bring a Clowney, injury prone, but you can bring Kerrigan. I know you put Melvin Ingram, also injury prone at this point, but still, Houston. There's out there. You can bring 3 of these guys. None of these guys are gonna cost you much. Clowney might be the highest one, but none of them are gonna cost you much. And put those there. And then if you bring a guy like the guys that I was talking, there should be more in the 3rd or 4th round. Put them under the wing so they can learn, and maybe the following year they can do production. Now you have your outside backer locked for at least next year, and then go out there and the draft and invest on receiver, invest on tight end, invest on this offense. What do you think?
That would be something right there. Getting a few of those guys out of free agency, because right now, what do we have? Pernell McPhee, they brought him back, brought back Tyus Bowser, brought back Derek Wolfe, and still have Jalen Ferguson. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So no, I was gonna say Derek Wolfe plays a different position. He plays inside. Pernell McPhee, for me, his best position is inside, not outside, and he gives you very, very little snaps on the outside. And Ferguson is your true outside linebacker, not great. And then Bowser, the better on the outside backer. But keep going. Sorry.
I feel like it's so weird with Jalen Ferguson, because he's an outside linebacker, but his body's like a DN.
He should be at the end. He
might
coming out of college.
He's not dropping back, man. He's not.
Look, when the Ravens, I remember when I scouted Ferguson, because people love Ferguson. I said it, and back then in Joe Newell's channel, I said, shout out to my guy Joe Newell. I said this dude's best position is a 4-3 DN, right? Hand in the dirt, cannot be standing up, and then get it. So when he got here, I was like, shit, are we putting him 3 or 4 DN? I don't know if he's gonna be that guy. Outside backer, maybe he can learn it. Hasn't been it like that. But anyway, what do you think we should do in the outside backer position?
Definitely. I would be all for Jadeveon Clowney. I know a lot of people just because of the lack of sacks and just the injury history, of course, too, that plays a big role. But I would be all for that because with Jadeveon Clowney, when he's healthy though, and that's a big question. And that's a big problem. But when he is healthy, he can be a problem and he can be very disruptive. And with him, he's very good at run support too, man. That's what he's best at. He's best at defending the run. And with Jadeveon Clowney, what the hope would be, because you look around and you see the teams that he's played for. He played for the Houston Texans. When he played for them, they wouldn't, and not that this is an excuse at all, but when he played for the Houston Texans, they were never really a successful team. They weren't really a big threat or anything like that, and they lost more often than they won. But I know a lot of people question his motivation. They question his work ethic as well. And then, of course, the injuries, they followed him throughout his career there. So then he went to Seattle. And Seattle, he looked good there. He looked motivated. But then I think he got like a hernia. He got some kind of injury there. But he looked good there. But then the numbers, they couldn't work out the numbers and whatnot. So then he went to the Titans. Yeah, he went to the Titans, and he didn't want to play throughout the whole preseason. He signed like right before the season started.
Yeah, not good.
So yeah, man, those are some questionable things, man. But if with Jadeveon Clowney, I think him being with the Ravens, where he wouldn't be asked to be that guy, I'm sure he would be a starter and he would be out there like for a significant amount of snaps every game. But he would be on a team that like really values really values defense, and he would be able to do multiple things. And I think the thing with Jadeveon Clowney, if they were to get him, would be that he would have to come cheap. Like there's no way that Jadeveon Clowney, I don't think he hits double digits this year as far as salary, man. Especially what the market is. And especially based off of last year too. Like last year, he played in I think 4 or 5 games, something like that. Then he went on injury reserve. So there was the lack of production, but then there was the lack of play too. So that brings his value down. And then every single day we get that much closer to the draft. And every day that we get closer to the draft, all these guys out there in free agency, their value it keeps dropping and dropping because you have edge guys that are in the draft that you can pick up or you can draft. So these guys, and then especially if they don't get picked up till after the draft, then their value will be even lower.
Yeah.
So with Jadeveon Clowney, I think he would be a guy that he could do some stuff, man. There are a lot of question marks. There will certainly be a lot of question marks though. But I think if we could get past all that, which we wouldn't know until the season got here, then he would be a good fit. Like you talked about earlier with Melvin Ingram. He reminds me of a veteran version of a Jihad Ward, a more experienced Jihad Ward, somebody that you can put both inside and outside. He's a defensive end, so that I think he would be a good match for the Ravens. Who else?
Houston.
Go ahead.
Houston.
Oh, yeah, Justin Houston, who they were interested in before. What was it, 2 years ago, I think? Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
so I agree. Look, this is right now, they're older guys. So none of these guys are in their prime. But because they're not in their prime, they can be very good, productive, cheap players. I think a guy like Clowney, you can probably say, look, I'll give you $7 million. And I'll heavily incentivize. Look, if you get 14 sacks, I'll give you $3 more million. That's fine, right? Like you can incentivize Clowney's deal.
Yeah.
And then you can bring Clowney. Right now, I was looking for this. The Ravens are 17 mil under the cap. I think it's like 3 mil for draft picks. So you have 14 mil. You can, in theory, bring a guy like Kerrigan, very productive guy. You can bring a guy like Clowney with that. And maybe a third guy. Houston, Aldon Smith had a decent year. And you can limit all these snaps between all three. Plus, you have Bowser, right? So for passing situation, you have Bowser, right? And then in the passing situation, you can have Clowney or Kerrigan. I think right now in the market, there's enough players that you can put a decent pass rusher, not young guys, but decent pass rusher that will be good for at least a year, maybe two. Maybe you can bring them for a second year. Look at Wolf. You brought them for a second plus year. So you can bring these for a second year, but that's not the same in the receiving market. The receiving market is very dry right now. Yeah. So in the receiving market, I think that's when the Ravens should go in and invest in the draft. Anyway.
So do you think, because I know you talked about bringing in the different possible free agents for the Ravens, would you rather them do that than to draft a pass rusher and edge guy early?
Yeah, I'm not big. Last year I had a couple of guys that I was bigger on him. Right now, and again, I haven't gone to a couple other guys, but right now the mock drafts that I seen have Phillips, for example, going to us at 27. I've seen some people putting the Rousseau
from Miami.
From Miami, and Rousseau is also from Miami. So I went and saw these two guys. I don't think they should be a first-round pick at all. I don't even think they should be a second-round pick. I think they're more third. They're very, very, very raw. These are not guys that you get day one, go contribute, right? Like think about Queen. Queen had his issues. Queen had rookie problems.
Oh yeah.
But you cannot say that he didn't contribute. I don't think these two guys can contribute. You bring those veterans and they can contribute. Now you might be able to find a receiver, especially with Sammy Watkins' history, that can play there. Doesn't have to start right away. You have Sammy there, but they can take over slowly with snaps and take. I did scout a guy named Bateman from Minnesota. Love that dude. I think he is definitely a first-round pick. I don't even know he's going to make it to 27, but he's definitely a first-round pick. I scouted a couple other guys, and videos are coming. But, man, the edge rushers, this year so far, linemen are pretty good. Receivers, I like a lot of the receivers. But the edge rushers, maybe some of the guys that might go early 20s, like 15, but there's not that many. And usually, think about this. Usually by now you hear a bunch of these edge rushers here, right? It's one of those positions that gets talked a lot. You don't hear that this year that much. You don't hear that many edge rusher. And I think it's the reason why people might overdraft some edge rushers. And the Ravens do need a young edge rusher. This is not me saying that they don't need a young old linebacker. But I don't think this is. They might be able to find one in the third and fourth round. And again, you bring all these veterans, that kid can suck knowledge. And maybe year two, can do it. Right now, Ferguson is not. I agree with you, right? I don't think Ferguson should be an outside backer at all. You're making an outside backer a passing situation because he needs to rush, and he's not even that good as a rusher. I call him a magnet. As soon as the ball gets snapped, he gets stick to whoever the old line is. He doesn't move. He doesn't push the guy. He doesn't push the guy back. I'm not a big fan of Ferguson at this point. He's going to year 3, and my rule is third round picks or more, or later. Year 3 is when I want to see that making the impact. This is the year that he should be making more strides. But I'm not confident about it at all.
Yeah, I am based off of what we've done so far in free agency and what I anticipate them to do, because I still think they're going to add another guy, both free agency and through the draft. I'm wondering how they're going to really use Ferguson, and if it's even possible that he finds himself on the inactive list again. But it is still very, very early, and obviously we got to get through the second and third wave of free agency and then through the draft too. So we'll see how everything ends up shaking out. Now, one guy, I didn't get to look at many prospects myself. I did get to look at Rashad Bateman, which I really liked him as well.
Right.
But another guy that I liked was Azeez Ojulari. And
isn't he the
he's the edge guy.
The edge guy, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't looked at his tape yet.
And with him, what I liked about him was when he strikes at the point of attack, it's like pow. Like he doesn't look the fastest. He got some decent speed, but his power, man. This guy has crazy striking power, man. It almost sounds like I'm talking about a boxer or something, but we're talking about a football player. Like when he gets to the quarterback, he is grabbing you and he's gonna take you down. He's gonna hit you too. And he is very like violent when he hits the quarterback. When he attacks that quarterback, it's all go for him. So that's somebody that I really, really like too. I got to watch some more film on him, but from what I watched so far, he looked really, really good, man.
Yeah, I have it on my list. He's one of the soon to be scouted. But if he's really that good, he's probably one of the few, like I said, that he might go early. We have a super chat here. Let me check him real quick with Marcus from the Europe. Look at that Euro over there. Shout out to you here in the European country like me. We should draft a center in the early rounds, Creed Humphrey. Let's build a wall around Lamar. I don't disagree with that, by the way. I don't disagree. As I came in early, I said the Ravens have the left tackle right with Stanley. They have a left guard that I'm not a big fan. I'm gonna keep saying this. I don't think Bozeman has been playing good enough for us to seal and stamp that left guard. But Harbaugh ain't moving from Bozeman. Center right now, it is a question. The question also is, does Harbaugh like TCC or Makari? Now, I do have my problems with Makari because of his comment. I can't get it out of my mind that he said that my bad snap was because 7,500 people were yelling. I just can't. I can't with that comment. That comment killed me. Okay, we have a right guard. And right tackle is a question mark because Zeus is leaving at some point. And Tyreek Phillips, was he better? I keep saying he was a better tackle than a guard. But he wasn't great either. It wasn't like he was great.
Give him all season, man.
Yeah, but I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Give it an off season. I just didn't want him as a guard because I did say as a guard he was terrible. He has better feet, looks like, as a tackle, but as a guard he got pushed over too much. Whatever. So let's say the Ravens like him as a right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Saying that, let's assume we trade Orlando Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Let's assume we get a first round pick.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about this O-line? Because I agree. The what?
I would say you get a left guard. You get a left guard.
So you think they should move away from Bozeman?
Move him away from left guard and put him at center.
Oh, okay. So I said that last year. But I will say this. There's something about the Ravens that they don't like Bozeman as center. Bozeman was the guy, of all these guys, that had the most experience from college as a center.
Mm-hmm.
And Makari was a guard. And they didn't say, let's put Makari as a left guard when Skura went down a year and a half ago.
That's a good point.
They could have put in there, and they say, Bozeman, you were a center in Bama, high like Bama SEC, so you know those D lines are good. Nope. And then in that preseason, right, coming out of the offseason, the rumor was that they might have put him in center because Skura was coming from a big injury, right? And then you saw that the guy that took the least amount of snaps at center was Bozeman. You have Skura taking snaps at center. You have McCarry taking snaps at center, not Bozeman. So there's something that they don't like. I don't know what it is. I obviously haven't seen him play as a center. There's something that they don't like. That's why when I move out of the train from Bozeman, he's gonna be a free agent at the end of the year. They do have like 1,000 guards behind him, right? They do. Like every year they draft another guard. They probably gonna draft another guard this year.
They will.
They have 1,000 guards, so they might be content with guards. Maybe I like what Powers did last year. So I was even more impressed with Powers than I was with Bozeman. And I know people love how Bozeman gets out of the block as a pulling guard. Well, Powers did it for 7 games, and I thought he was pretty well. Bozeman has done it for 3 years, so obviously Bozeman will have a leg up on Powers. But I think Powers might be good enough for left guard. Now, the reason why I say this is, let's say we trade for Orlando Brown. Center could be, guys. Center could be. I want my O-line to be one of the best. Right. But let's say the Ravens are like, nah, TCC or my wife, Puerto Rican, by the way. I'm very proud of TCC. So let's say they're good with TCC or they're good with McCarry. Now, let's say they get another pick of the 16-ish. They do have Arsenal to move up, right? They have 2 first-round picks. They could move up. Let's say the guy from Georgia that they like, it might be there. Or now you can get an elite receiver. You could get one of these elite receivers. Would you be good for them to trade up for a guy like Chase, right? I will say I just watched a sprinkle in some film from Chase, and he looked amazing. The reason why I haven't done any deep dive on Chase is because, I mean, it's very rare that we can get a guy that is kind of go top 5, right? So why waste my time? But if you had 2 first-round pick and they loved him, they could do that. But what is your thoughts? Should they do? That's what Atlanta did for Julio, right? They send like 4 picks to get
everything.
Julio.
Yeah, they gave up a lot for Julio, but it ended up being worth it. And with the Ravens, I don't see them doing that, man, because Ravens, man, as much as they love and they will do any and everything to keep every single comp pick that they possibly can. And a good question that somebody actually asked the other day, they were like, oh, is Sammy Watkins going to count against the compensatory pick formula? And I was like, I'm not sure. But as much as Ravens love their comp picks, which are draft picks, and now over the past couple of years, they've been tradable, they love their regular picks too. And these dudes love to hoard picks, man. They love to get more and more picks every single year, any single way that they possibly can. So even if they traded Orlando Brown Jr. and they got a first-round pick for him, I can't. I wouldn't be mad if they did, but I don't envision them, and I just cannot see the Ravens trading up in the draft, especially having 2 first-round picks and combining them to move up. I can't see that at all, man. I would love them to, depending on the play and depending on what they went to go get, but I just can't see them doing it. I could really see them trading back and getting more draft picks, like trading one of those first round picks and getting, we want even more draft picks, give them to us. I can see them doing that, but trading up, I just can't see it, man. Not like that, no.
Yeah, I will be excited, but I will also be, I don't know, I'll feel weird because I love the draft, so more picks for me are also good. Now, I will say this, EDC last year right? He tried to go up and get the guy that went to the Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, CeeDee.
Yeah, he had a deal with the Raiders, like 2 picks behind the pick that he went in. But yeah, he doesn't like to. They don't like to go up that much. Now, if you had if you had 2 first-round picks, and somebody here said top 5, I doubt there's going to be a top 5 for Orlando Brown Jr. But let's say you finish the Bears and you're in the teens, right? 15, I don't know what the Bears pick, 15, 16, whatever it is. your guy from Georgia doesn't play, maybe they can trade up, but it will be a little, maybe to give up a late third or swap a third for a fourth to trade up a couple of spots.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they can get, a great tackle. Let's say they don't believe in a guy, Terry Phillips, and they can get one of the tackles. But also, they had 2 first-round picks. And the reason why that's important, because as Lamar's going to get paid, those guys are cheap contracts moving forward. Now, they have to hit on this. And I have been critical of EDC. I don't know if you've been in a couple of my videos. I have been very critical of EDC. The EDC and the draft hasn't been as good. And it has been more aggressive in free agency. Not this year, but before this year. He has been more aggressive in free agency. And his picks haven't really panned out.
Mm-hmm.
So if we get those 2 first-round picks, we have to hit. We can't be missing. Those 2 first-round has to be a hit.
Right.
And they have to go for positions. Like if you get one in the mid-teens, I agree. Now you can potentially get one of the very few edge rushers that might be ready to be a starter, right? And then the other first-round pick, I think you have to go receiver. I think because, like I said, right now there's nothing more. People talk to me about Golden Tate and all these other. Golden Tate is a patch. It's another body, right? It's not Golden Tate, Sammy Watkins are not gonna move that needle in your passing game. They're gonna make a play here or there. They're not gonna move you for 30 seconds that we were to 19, right? I don't even know no rookie will move you there. But if you had a really good, competent receiver on the rookie side, with Sammy Watkins, maybe you can be in the 22, 23 range, right? I think as Ravens fan, if we can move from 32nd to the 23rd
that would be
passing, that would be amazing. That would be a big leap. Mm-hmm. And that's what you should, as Ravens fans, nothing top 20. No. You are the solution if you think you're going to be a top 20 passing. But if you go to 24, 23, I think you're up there, right? So, Ray, how long do I have you here for?
Oh, I'll be on for about 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes? Okay. So let's round this up with this. Cap-wise, draft-wise, assuming Orlando Brown's gone. Right. Mm-hmm. What is your dream scenario for the Ravens when they break training camp?
Oof. Dream scenario. Woo. My dream scenario for the Ravens would be I got a couple now. Okay. And again, I know chat, some of y'all might be a little technical, like, hey, that's not realistic, man. He did say dream scenario.
Dream.
Bear with us, please. Anyway, my dream scenario for the Baltimore Ravens would be breaking training camp. Allen Robinson looks good in purple and black. That will be one of our receivers. We'd, of course, still have Sammy Watkins, still have Hollywood, and Boykin will be doing this thing too. Now, I would love for us to have that plethora of receivers, and still, of course, Duvernay and Prochet too. And then even Deion Kane and Benjamin Victor pushing. I wouldn't expect them to make the roster, but I would like for them to be on the practice squad so they can continue getting acclimated and whatnot, getting better and better and whatnot, getting that experience and be ready for a call-up just in case, because unfortunately, you do know injuries happen. Offensive line, my dream offensive line would actually be to keep Orlando Brown Jr. I would rather him stay. Because Orlando, he probably not going to stay, but I would rather him stay because he solidifies it, man. He could move, he could be on the right side, and Ronnie Stanley, hopefully he'll come back healthy, and then whoever's going to be at center, the interior offensive line, Zyla's going to be at right guard, and what they do, the biggest question marks that we have are at center and left guard right now. And I would like those to be the only question marks, but hopefully after the draft and everything, those get answered. Now I did like, he only played a little bit, but I did like Tristan Colon Castillo last year, and even Makari too. With Makari, I feel like with Makari, it got bad quick, and especially obviously the playoff game, it was just really, really bad. But besides that, McCurry wasn't so bad, man.
He wasn't.
Yeah, he wasn't so bad. And I know us as fans, we tend to get caught up on the last thing that you did. What have you done for me lately and whatnot? So I know that's why McCurry gets the really, really bad rap, but McCurry wasn't all that bad. And then even you go back to the year before, this dude, undrafted rookie free agent, and he had to take over for Matt Skura, and the Ravens offense was what the Ravens offense was, and the Ravens offense didn't fall off when Matt Skura got hurt and McCurry stepped in. So I would like them to battle it out, but I wouldn't be surprised if Ravens brought in a veteran. But my back to my dream scenario, the O-line gets taken care of, whether it's through the draft or through a mix of the draft and free agency. But another thing too is that, of course, they're not going to forget the run game. Because now we're moving on to coaching. They're not going to forget the run game. Greg Roman's still here. And like I said before, too, I think even if Greg Roman would have left, I think the Ravens run game would have been just fine. But Greg Roman's still here. So the run game is going to be big. But just to dream scenario would be that we really involve, not that you completely flip everything around and be like, oh, you know what? Stop running. No, you ain't got to do that. Still run that ball. But when you pass, just find different ways to get different guys involved. And really, I would love to see my dream scenario for the Ravens would be for them to use their guys to their potential, to play their guys on offense to their strengths. That would be my dream scenario for them, because on defense, Ravens do that well. They play guys to their strengths on defense, but on offense, we haven't seen that. So I that's what the biggest thing that I would love to see. And that's regardless of that. And that's, I don't even think that's even such a dream scenario. That's what we hope for with this Ravens offense, because you got Greg Roman, who he used them running backs to their strength now. But as far as the wide receivers, they don't really get played to their strengths. And this, I think this has almost been not even just a Greg Roman issue, though. This is just a bigger issue, period. Now, along with the offense, Lamar Jackson, he is not without fault at all. Lamar Jackson, he got to step up too. One big thing from him, he has to be more decisive with the football. And not saying that as soon as you set, you locked on to whatever receiver you're gonna throw to, because that's not good. Because that's what happened in a few games last year, especially in the Bills playoff game. He was locked on, boom, pick six, and game was over at that point. Well, not necessarily, but that's what pretty much ended it for the Ravens. But with Lamar Jackson, the decision making, he's a very good decision maker, but his decision making could still improve. And that's a big part of that, I think, is with the check down game. Because Lamar, he's always trying to be the hero, always trying to be Superman. And a lot of times, sometimes the offense makes him have to be Superman, but he doesn't always have to try to play hero ball, man. Just sometimes, hey, J.K. Dobbins right there, Gus Edwards right there, a tight end might be right there for a short pass. Okay, just hit him. You can't go for the big strike every time. I mean, we as fans, we love that big strike, but you can't go for that every single time. So sometimes you just got to take what the defense is giving you. And I would like to see the Ravens do a lot more of that moving forward, just for them to take what the defenses give them. And then dream scenario too with the receivers, catch the ball. And that's very, very plain, cliche, sounds so simple, but it's a lot deeper than that. Catch the ball. Ravens with their passing game, of course, we all saw the numbers and the percentages and the drop percentages and blah, blah, blah. We saw all that stuff. But with the Ravens game, since they obviously were ranked last in passing last year, that's numbers don't tell the whole story, but at the same time, they do tell a significant amount of the story. And with the Ravens wide receivers, a lot of passes were just dropped. They were dropped. A lot of opportunities missed. Now, there other times too, Lamar, he overthrew. Like Hollywood should have had a lot more yards than he did last year. But Lamar and Hollywood, there were a little while where they just were not on the same page. And really throughout the entire season, I felt like they weren't consistently on the same page. Sorry about that. But receivers just got to catch the ball. And one of my biggest things too, dream scenario, tight ends healthy. Mark Andrews, Nick Boyle come back healthy, but they get another sort of dynamic, athletic tight end that could stretch the field too. But my biggest dream scenario going into, then this will be my final piece of this, but my biggest scenario for going into this 2021-2022 season would be if Lamar Jackson and Miles Boykin could be on the same page.
That would be
because
amazing.
This guy, everything that so many of us want, and I can't speak for everybody, but for some of us, everything that so many of us want in a wide receiver, when it comes to somebody tall, somebody who can move, somebody who's fast, somebody who can jump, Miles Boykin has that. And I know he doesn't run the best routes and he doesn't have the best control of his body yet, but I would just really, really, really love to see Miles Boykin and Lamar Jackson be on the same page, because I was talking to one of my guys today and he was like, man, with Miles Boykin, if Miles Boykin had confidence, then that could actually boost up the confidence of this entire offense, because we could tell on the field, Miles Boykin and Lamar, they not with it, man. They're not on the same page. They're not even in the same book. But if they got on the same page, if they started clicking, oh, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, Miles Boykin is the receiver we want. Right, he is the receiver we want. Like, if you had to draw the receiver that the Sunny, for example, asked for the Ravens to get, is Miles Boykin's, but production, right? Miles Boykin with production. Now, let me say my dream scenario. I think the Ravens should knock the door on Zach Ertz. I think he will be good for this offense. I think he will be that second tight end on offense that the Ravens could use. I think the Ravens need to draft a receiver, guys, because I don't see anything out there. I would love if they can keep Orlando Brown Jr., but I think it's probably not going to happen. So I will say, as long as they can have a solution on right tackle on good, if it is Takin Phillips, so be it. If they go out there and draft a guy, sure. I think different from most of the Ravens. I think when Raven was alluding to this, I actually think the solution for the interior O-line is in-house. I don't know if they're going to go out there and get somebody else. I think they were worried about having to have two guards. But once they put Seiler there, my hope is they put a competition for left guard. But I think they're going to pencil Bozeman. But I think they might be good between either TCC or McCarry. Because, again, my problem with McCarry is the comment, not how he played. He had the one back game, but if I take it to the stretch of all his games, he played fairly good for most of it. Yeah. And he's in year 2, so he's going to go to year 3. Dream scenario also, bring 3 of these outside rushers that are out there. Between Clowney, we talked about this early in the show, between Clowney, Houston, Kerrigan, Alden Smith, bring 3. Not 2, you need 3. Why? Because they're older, and then you can, not Clowney's not older, but he's injury prone. But you can rotate, right? And you can rotate guys, keep them fresh. And at that point, you can you have your outside rusher. The receiver, either drafting or trading. But again, if you cannot trade for anybody, if you draft, we need a dynamic receiver. We haven't had one. When I say a dynamic receiver, I don't need somebody necessarily to take the top off. We have those guys. Duvernay is fast. Hollywood Brown is fast, right? I think Lamar needs his Anquan Bolden, his Steve Smith, a bulldog, somebody that you throw it around and he catches the ball. Flacco, when he threw it to Bolden, not always was a pretty throw. Sometimes he just snapped. He knew Bolden was just going to do a curl route. The guy was glued to Bolden, just threw it out there. Sometimes Bolden catches, sometimes he did it, but the confidence, we don't have that guy. Also, in the case of Lamar, what I want from Lamar, anticipation. He has none. He needs to see a guy open. He needs anticipation. And that's developed with confidence, but also he needs to know that dude is about to break a post. Yes. There's no safety over the top. I'm going to either throw it that he can get it or nobody can get it. But Lamar needs to see his guy open for the most part. Sometimes he does his anticipation. You can see it there. He needs to do it more often, because some of the times that he holds the ball is because he's not anticipating the break. Yeah. I need that for him. And obviously accuracy, sometimes he's still throwing behind. So I need more consistency. To be honest, it's consistency. everything that you want from a quarterback, Lamar does it. He just doesn't do it consistency. Anticipation, he does it very little. Accuracy, he's accurate sometimes. Sometimes the guy's running a drag route and he throws it behind, right? So that consistency, if he gets consistent, he's going to be a problem for this league, right? And just growth from my young guys. And I think this team, guys, is ready for another Super Bowl push. Last year, we fell short. We did fell short. Yeah. And I will say this. I think that game before the pick six was exactly where we wanted. Josh Allen had one good drive in favor of the win. We, the Ravens, were going to get that win side for the fourth quarter. Against the win, we drove the ball. If that pick six doesn't happen and Justin Tucker hits a field goal because that was a cheap shot, that day was hard to hit field goals. We know Justin Tucker missed two, but that was a cheap shot. Let's assume that he made it. If we go down 4 with in favor of the win, I think the Ravens win that game. I'm not saying that they might have not beat Mahomes the following week. I don't know, but I think this team has everything they need. We need some minor improvements on the offense for Lamar, and we need a dynamic weapon. Again, I'm not talking about somebody takes the top off, but a possession receiver, somebody that Lamar can trust. Another tight end, because it was ridiculous that we were just bringing bodies as a tight end. We cannot break camp with 2 healthy tight ends, and that's it. And yes, people, I know you'll be talking about Breeland. I don't know about your streams. People talk about Breeland for my streams.
Oh, Jacob Breeland.
And I said last year that I love Breeland, but he's coming from a major injury. That's the reason why he didn't play. He's in a question mark right now. You cannot go out there and say, like, oh, we have Breeland. No. Oliver that we just brought, injury history.
I forgot about him.
Eli Wolf, I'm not big on Eli Wolf. He's average. And the Ravens think he's average because what we thought, we had him in the practice squad. What we were doing, bringing bodies over Eli Wolf. You don't know the playbook. Doesn't matter. Eli Wolf is out. Doesn't matter. I brought you. Wilson, go. So, saying all that, this team is really good. Bolster the O-line. And again, guys might be in-house. Bring that one receiver that we need. Bring that other tight end. I think that's what the offense needs. On defense, bring me some of those veteran pass rushers, and I think we should be good.
Yeah.
I think we should be good.
Yeah, it's not like that's a good thing about the Ravens. It's not like they are always so far off. And it's been like that for a long time, probably since 2008, maybe, to where they're competitive every year. And they just need a few, and they'll lose people every year, but they'll still gain at the same time. So they're never too far off to where it's like, oh my goodness, our team is so depleted and that's never the case. So with us Ravens fans, we're spoiled. We're not spoiled rotten, like Patriots or whatever, but we are very spoiled as far as the competitive team that is built every single year. Now we of course still have our frustrations, and we feel like there's some things they could do better, but it's a lot of things that they could do worse as well. So we're definitely grateful to be fans of the Ravens, because think about it, the things that we complain about, other teams,
kill for having
teams, they would love to be able to complain about those things. But Ravens are a victim of their own success, and that could be broken down on so many different levels with the team, from personnel to coaching to decisions that are made and whatnot. But Ravens are victims of their own success. And while some could look at it as a bad thing, and in some areas it could be, but that is a really good thing, because that means that your team and your organization and your franchise has been very successful overall, and they remain competitive.
Yep. And I will say this. It's one of the things I mentioned the other day. Drafting is key. One of the reasons this team is so good right now is because that 2018 draft, not only Lamar Jackson, but we hit so many others. Orlando Brown, Mark Andrews, right? We hit different picks, which has allowed us to have very cheap deals and move forward on offense. We have to keep drafting well, because as Lamar's going to get paid, Mark Andrews is about to get paid, and others are about to get paid. Those draft picks are crucial. Yeah. Anyway, Guys, remember tomorrow, 5:45 p.m. Eastern, AFC North Talk. If you like to just talk AFC North, Steelers, Ravens, Browns, and Bengals, come to the AFC North Talk. We do great show. It's very fun, very light. It's very entertaining. So come join. We need more flock. We need more representation on the flock. Usually Browns fans are very well represented. They're very hyped. Steelers fans right now are hiding. We don't even know where they are. And Bengals fans are represented too. But come to the AFC North Talk. It's a great show. Obviously, in Raven, man, where they can find you, bro. Where they can find you.
You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Everything is in Graven Vids. Y'all already know, man, this team keep it clean. Appreciate you, Sonny. Much love to you. Thank you again for having me on, man. Appreciate
it, man. In the case of here, man, guys, thank you, everybody this year. We do this every Monday at 5. We take phone calls. Obviously, we didn't take phone calls today, but we're going to keep pushing. Mock drafts every Monday. We're going to start the show with a mock draft. Then we're going to do unless something crazy happens in free agency, we're going to go back and do a player profile. And then we're going to take phone calls. Swing by. I would love to have it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. This week, I'm trying to push Terrell's Marshall video out there. Hit that like. And you know how it is. And thank you again for Raven for being here. Thank you, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace out.